Good morning. Welcome those online. We're glad that you are here with us. And for those who weren't here with us, we just honored a couple of our graduates graduating from high school. And so we wanted to kind of just celebrate with them and start talking a little bit about transitions, because that's what they're doing. And as we were thinking about transitioning into different phases of life, I was thought back to a little trip I took with Titus about 3 weeks ago. His class went to SeaWorld for their field trip. And so the thing that's kind of cool about SeaWorld these days is that it's not just about marine life. When we used to live in the San Diego area, we had season passes, and it was all pretty much, there was a couple little roller coaster type things, but now there's several. And the cool thing about the day we went, there was nobody really there. And we just walked up and would get on and turn around, walk up and get on all day long. And which makes it a lot of fun, because normally you wait for an hour to ride a a little longer than that, a minute roller coaster. But I started thinking about that trip and that roller coaster. I think it was the Emperor was the name of this roller coaster. It was a 14-story drop at the beginning. And I kind of helped me think that sometimes life is like a roller coaster ride. Actually, I think life is a roller coaster ride. And so for the last 12 years, since first grade, you guys have been kind of going up this roller coaster ride, kind of click, 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 first grade, click, second grade, click, working your way up to high school, and then you get to that point where you're about to enter into adulthood and college or careers or whatever it might be, and you're excited and you can't wait, but it gets there and it kind of pauses. And right now you're in the pause. You're kind of in that pause, and you can, at the top of the roller coaster, and on the Emperor, has no floor on this particular ride. Your feet are just dangling. And you can look down, and you're just looking 14 stories down, and you can kind of see what's to come, but you can't see everything because there's ups and downs and twists and turns, and sometimes it pauses and climbs back up, and everything's just kind of building up for the next, let's go again. And anyone else experience life can be like that? I have. It can be ups and downs and twists and turns, and the roller coaster is a great ride for some. Some it drops and they're terrified. They're hanging on, they're screaming, they got tears, they're whatever. Others are raising their hands and laughing and just enjoying it. When everyone's done, they're all happy. Whether they might be happy that it was a fun ride, they might be happy they're off. But either way, they're happy that it's done, right? And it's safe on a roller coaster as long as you have your safety bar in the right position. A roller coaster without the safety bar would not be a whole lot of fun, because you're probably going to get dumped at some point. It's at least going to be more dangerous than it should have been. And life is that way too, as we all go through transition. Now we're addressing the seniors or graduates, the class of 2023, but it's really for all of us, because we all have roller coaster lives. We all come across transitions in life, and we all need to have the safety belt of life on to get us through those transitions. It could be a transition of your baby girl is now an adult and transitioning out of high school and being a little kid. It could be a transition of a death of a loved one, a new job, a job going away. It could be the transition of bringing a new baby into your home, becoming a grandparent. Life has all sorts of things. It goes ups and downs and twists and turns. And as long as you got the safety bar of life on, you're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. And the safety bar of life is the subtitle of this is to seek and obey God. As we're going through life, through transitions, as you're figuring out what college you're going to go to, or what degree you want to get, or what career you want to start, or who you want to date, with the thoughts of marriage, as you are just figuring out things in life, if you have the safety belt of seeking God and obeying Him, it's going to be okay. It might be up and down. It might have some hard twists. It might even be painful at times. I've ridden, it was a Viper at Magic Mountain. I don't like that roller coaster. Only because my size, and it has the things that come over your shoulders, the whole time I'm pounding my head back and forth. It's a fun ride, but it's painful at times, but it's safe. And sometimes we go through life with wondering what God is doing through these transitions, through this time. And if we're seeking Him and being obedient to His will, it'll end up being okay. We're on the roller coaster of life that's headed towards heaven. If you've come to put your faith in Jesus Christ as your Savior, if you've come to that place where you recognize that Jesus is the Son of God and He died for our sins and we're sinners and our sins separate us from God, and we've come to that belief and we trust and we begin to live out our life to seek Him, what He has for us, and to live obediently before Him, which shows that we truly believe, we're going to be okay. Even if it's rough here on earth, eventually we'll be in heaven with Him for all eternity. It's going to be okay. So this morning I wanted to take a look at a text of an individual that I say went on a rough roller coaster ride. And we're just going to look at the beginning of his time. But that's, if you have your Bible, turn to Genesis 12. We're just going to read the kind of entry level of what I would say is Abram at this point, Abram's incline, his ascent to the top of his roller coaster. We're not told much about Abram. We're in the prior chapter in 11 at the end. We're kind of given some genealogy, and we're told about his dad, and that his dad had taken him and Abram's wife Sarah and had moved him along with his cousin. They kind of moved to this one area of Haran, and that's where they lived. And that's all we told. We're not told about his childhood. We're not told about how he did, what his GPA was, if he was the valedictorian of his class or any of that type of stuff. We're not told much about him other than this is where he is at life. He's with family, friends. He's grown quite a bit of livestock and some different things like that. And in verse 1, chapter 12, verse 1, we're told this. The Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. That's a key there. I will show you. Not to this land, not to this destination, not to this job or to this person you should marry or to this college you should go to or this career you should start. But just go and I will show you. Have you ever been there, adults that have? Yeah, we all have. It's that way sometimes. If we just feel like, man, what's going on here? I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you. Whoever curses you, I will curse. And all people on earth will be blessed through you. So God is telling him here, hey, Abram, you do these things, you seek me, you be obedient, you're going to have such blessing. Your descendants are going to be a blessing. This is just going to be a great, great thing for you. Verse 4, so Abram went as the Lord had told him. There's the obedience. He went to where God was showing. Did God show him yet? Gave him a little bit more direction? I don't know. It's not in the text. But he started going. He was obedient. And Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and the possessions they had accumulated and the people they had acquired in Haran. And they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At the time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, to your offspring I will give this land. So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he went on towards the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram set out and continued toward the Negev. So he's been taken to the promised land that he's promised. And he's not promised that he's going to get it. It's your descendants. You're going to come and you're going to kind of live here. And so he's living in this great land. And there's going to be a lots of time pass before it becomes their land. And you notice one of the cities mentioned there is Ai. And if you have read through the Old Testament and heard the story of when they conquer the land, that's the second city that the Israelite people conquer when coming to overtake the Canaanites and to become the promised land, to become Israel there. And so this is the story of Abram. And he's just obeying God, and he's following and doing what he's supposed to do, knowing that he's not even going to completely receive the prize, but it's being promised to him. Now, man, what a roller coaster ride that would be. Now, I would encourage you to spend time this week. Continue reading Abraham's story. And his name goes from, you hear me say Abraham, God's going to change his name to Abram, his wife's name from Sarai to Sarah. He's going to change. But follow his journey. It's kind of an up and down. And then follow his descendants. There's a lot of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster ride. All the way up until they get the promised land. And there's some good days. And then there's some bad days. And even as they go into the promised land, God tells Moses to tell them, hey, look, as long as you're obedient and follow what I say, it'll go well. If you're not obedient, it'll get bad. And so this is why I wanted to look at Abraham for a moment here, as we start looking at these transitions and the roller coasters of life. And I don't want anyone check out, because, this is for all of us. Some of you young people here are still in that going through elementary, junior high, high school, and building up into that adulthood. But even in adulthood, you're going to have more roller coasters. This is for all of us today. See, I believe Abraham, he sought God. He was devoted to God. That's how he heard from God. If he didn't seek God and didn't look for God and listen for God, he wouldn't have heard, go to the land where I will show you. He would have just kind of wandered. And then maybe God would have picked someone else to do this great task. But I believe he sought God. And that put him in a safety place. Even though he had times where he felt he had to take control, he had to get in God's way, and he lied about who he was and who his wife was to protect her. And turns out he didn't need to do that. God had him. He just needed to trust. So he had his own ups and downs and things that make life a little tougher on him. But God was there. God protected him. And God led him through the times. And he'll lead you guys. He'll lead all of us as we go through times of transition. We've been on a journey. For 14 years as a church, we've been on a journey of different things. My family's been on a journey, a roller coaster. And I want to share about our roller coaster ride. As many of you know, Michelle's health is not always the best. Her job is stressful, and that takes the issues she deals with and kind of makes them worse. The hours that she has to work are very stressful, working to 2 in the morning a lot. It's just tough. So about 4 years ago, she started kind of going, I need to do something different. And she put the word out. And there was something different that came up. But it wasn't the timing. We prayed about it. We seek God because it's a roller coaster ride, and we want the safety belt of being in God's will and doing what God would have us do. And so as we are traveling along, we see this opportunity, and we prayed about it. We talked to the kids about it, and we just kind of say, God, if this is it, what are the pieces that we need? Here's kind of what makes that work. And that wasn't the timing. So we've proceeded through life. We proceeded through our roller coaster ride. And as we've been riding, there's been ups and downs and twists and turns and this and that throughout the time. And it's been a journey. And so we've been talking over the last several years. That was back in 2019, at the end of the year when we had that particular opportunity, and it wasn't what God had for us. But we started talking and praying and thinking, well, what is next? What and when is next? And so as we've been talking and praying and thinking about stuff, we came to the point where we went, you know what? It seems like maybe about 2026 would be good timing. And so we've been talking and thinking about 2026, the summer of 2026, and where would we go, what would we want to do, and if we're going to get her out of work, we can't afford to be in California. And so we've been, over the last few years, going, what's next? And we said Tennessee. And so we've been thinking like in 2026, it's time to start transitioning and making a move. But we seek God. And sometimes you seek God, and he starts revealing stuff, and you're not ready for that dip. And God started working on my heart. And he started talking to more and more and going, maybe 26 isn't the right time. And I was talking to a friend, and he pointed out some things, and that sent me into a deep time of prayer and seeking the Lord and some time of fasting. And then I preached just about a month ago. We don't say, oh, I'm going to move here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but we talk about the importance. It's not that we don't say that, it's we don't say it without saying we're doing this with God. That we seek God. And when I preached that message, I said part of it is you also need to be talking to the godly people in your life. So I called up my pastor, my mentor, and talked to him and 2 or 3 other people. And the family, we talked, and Michelle and we said, you know what? Maybe sooner is what God's saying to us. But we don't know because all the puzzle pieces aren't in place. And I'm leaving out a lot of puzzle pieces, but the big puzzle piece. About 6 months ago, we thought we were going to move to Tennessee in 2026. So we contacted our realtor because we're watching the market of housing just drop. And we thought, what if we sell the house now and rent? And our realtor said, you know what, that's not a good idea. The market's stabilizing. She was right. But the deal's different because of interest and everything is you're going to have, it's not a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. It's going to take you a couple months to sell the house. So we said, well, let's just see what God has to say about that. Let's put the house on the market and just see if we can even get what we would need to go and buy a house for cash in Tennessee. We got about a month or two. We put the house on the market on a Thursday morning. Got a phone call that afternoon. Someone wants to see your house tonight, and they want to give you, they already have an offer now. This is your offer, sight unseen. God, what are you doing? It's supposed to be 2 months. It's been about 3 or 4 hours. All right, well, let's let them see the house. And in the meantime, someone else wanted to see the house that same night. They called back and said, we want to offer more. The other person, by the next morning, had made an offer, and we said, well, that's not as much as them. By Saturday morning, we had 2 solid offers over asking price. We had people coming in all day, it seemed like every day for 5 days. We eventually said, after 5 days, said, let's look at the offers. In a market that we're supposed to wait 2 months, we had 12 offers, all of them over asking price, but one was at asking price. And that was our final confirmation. So I shared with the board right before I left on vacation. And knew I'm going to come back and want to share with the church that the Lord is taking us on a roller coaster ride. Just as our seniors are transitioning to life, my family is transitioning into a new season. And there's a lot more puzzle pieces. Some have fallen into place since all of that. But it's just been evident to us that God is saying there's time for something different. And that means the church is now in transition too. And I believe with all my heart that God has the leader for the next phase of this church that this group of people needs for what's next. This is a sad day for me. I love each and every one of you. This is our church family. That's hard. But on this journey, it's been evident that God has us going into some new things. And I don't know what they all are yet. I know we have until July 2nd or 3rd, 4th, somewhere in there. We're not sure. It's kind of fluctuating right now to be out of our house. So this roller coaster ride has been slow. And then we got to the top and it paused. And now we're just flying. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm sad. But I'm confident that God's leading us. And I don't think he's just leading me. He's doing something for the church. I don't know exactly what that is. But I believe there's some great things ahead. God has done so many good things in the past 14 years. And I look forward to hearing what's next. But this time, I know there'll be some questions. We have a landing spot until we can find a home. I'm going to be able to transfer with FedEx to where we're going. So that's would be my job until God shows us and reveals exactly where we're going to live and what the next step is. But sometimes when you're on a roller coaster, you don't see the curve coming until it's there. And so those are a couple questions I know we would get, so I just wanted to address that. But my point for all of us with this message, back to our graduates, whatever life takes you, as long as you're seeking God, following him and being obedient, it's going to be good. Pastor Sturgeon used to tell me, and others, I hear him say it a lot, there's no better place or safer place to be than in the center of God's will. We can go and do something that looks easier and better and whatever, but if that's not the center of God's will, it's going to be horrible. If we stay too long, it's not going to be horrible for my family, it'll be horrible for the church. Because God's got puzzle pieces we can't see. So girls, seek God in everything and obey, especially when it's hard. It's easy to be obedient when mom and dad says, hey, go get you a bowl of ice cream. Oh, that's easy to obey. It's not as easy when she says, go clean your room. Sometimes it's the way with God. For all of us, transitions. I don't know what some of you are facing. Just things in life are transitions for you. Obey. Seek God in it. Obey. And especially when it's hard. And then as a church body, you have a good church board who love you, love this church, who love God. And I know they're seeking God and what is best for Rialto First and the community of Rialto. As they are seeking and are doing, and with confidence, are going to be obedient unto the Lord, would you seek the Lord on their behalf and be in prayer for them? I know I've prayed for the board more in the last 2 weeks than I've probably have, just because I know they got a different challenge before them. So pray for them, encourage them, help them in any way you can. Support each other. That's what we've always said. We're a church family. We're based off of each other. It's not based off of a person. It's based off of God. So be there for one another. And then see, God, what's your role during the transition? They're going to have to call on people to do some stuff that they haven't done before until there's someone else to fill in. They'll need someone to come open up doors and turn on air conditioners on Sunday mornings, and they'll need people to teach. There'll be different things to do. And this might be the time, God, when you're seeking God, He's going to say, I need you to step up. Even when it's difficult, obey. Obey. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for the roller coaster ride. It's fun. It gets scary. It gets hard. I thank you that most of the time it's been a ride where I could lift my hands up. Not too many twists and turns where I brought them down to hang on for dear life. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for this church family that you've blessed us to be part of for the past many years. And Lord, I pray that as we all go through this roller coaster ride, and that you would just continue, make yourself clear. Lord, I pray that you will be very clear in showing the steps to the leadership as they interact with each other and with you, and seeking the next step. And Lord, we even pray for who the next person you have to come and shepherd this church. Lord, as you're preparing their heart, they maybe not even know they're moving yet. But Lord, I pray that for them as well. Because Lord, as you want what is best for Rialto First Assembly. And so Lord, I pray that you would just guide everybody. That you would bring a peace, the peace that you've brought into me in the last few weeks. I pray that you would put that upon each person here. Those who are unable to be here today, as they hear about the news, that your Spirit would touch them. And we just thank you for your love. And I pray that you would help each of us to be able to journey seeking you and obeying you, even when it's hard. And we just give it all to you. And we give you the praise and honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I can't read lips, sorry. I did want to make one other thing. Months ago, I'm on a board for Kingdom Development. We have a retreat planned. I won't be here next week. It's not related to this at all. It's been long before I knew this Sunday was this Sunday. I was planned. Family should be here, but I will be gone next week. So I did want to make that notice, because I didn't want people to show up and go, wait, is he gone already? Where is he at? Why is it? No, I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. But I did want to put that heads up, because that could look weird next week when Tim's scheduled to be here again. So other than that, hope to see everyone out on Wednesday night as we continue in our Bible study of watching The Chosen and discussing that. All right. God bless.